right. Interruption. That's okay. I always love unexpected company stopping by. Enjoy it. Enjoy having folks stop by. But now we're back to corruption with everything going on here in Newnan with this corrupt Judge Stokely and the rest of the clowns up there. I'll jump right back into where I left off, I hope, and we'll get right to it. And so here it is. Very amusingly, like I said, we had the prison warden arrested there, and then we had old Stokely there. Best thing, as long as I'm around, maybe the world won't notice you as much. And so why is it that we have government officials, especially judges who are supposed to be unbiased, coming after freedom-loving Americans and a veteran such as me to do that? Once again, the magistrate office number is 770-254-2610, and then R. Stokely, Stokely, at Coweta, COWETA.ga.us. I'll put it all in the link afterward. And yeah, so we're gonna bombard them here for it's Friday, but hopefully we'll come, do it today. We'll do it Monday. We'll just keep going to see what it is. So my response to that, we'll get into reading that right here. My response is it the right to address my government that offends you so much? The fact you feel compelled as a public official to respond to me on social media is pathetic. The solicitor's office, she is also a coward who is afraid to introduce herself to me. And she was like, hey, where do I file this complaint and everything at? And she never told me she was the solicitor. I didn't know. And because nobody knew what they were doing in the office there, because I was getting information. Like, oh, what is freedom of information? Oh, it's the Open Georgia Records Act. And she had to come up and explain to it. And I asked, okay, but where do I do this? Because, I had some rights violated here. I want to know. And she tried to point me out to the thing on the wall. And I was like, yeah, but you just gave me this and said it was this. But anyway, another time for that. But tried to deflect right there. Coward, the entire solicitor's office. Absolute cowards, dirtbags. Coming for you too. Don't worry. Everything's going to come out. People are going to know. Anyway, back to that. Anyway, they said that you were an idiot and didn't know how to write up any charges. That's true. I tell everybody about the, quote, judge who belittles women in court and exclaims how much he hates women. You're a gutless coward, and I let everyone know. Let me take 3 months not to make a ruling because I'm too scared and I think I'm a Supreme Court justice when I'm actually just a corrupt Southern judge. I'll be requesting the footage where you told the guy you would violate his rights next week and put it out for the public, so don't go deleting it. You're a pathetic man and an embarrassment to the nation and Constitution you swore to uphold. Now, you would think at this point, my judge, would find better things to do than argue with me, but afraid not, he decides to, got to wake up in the morning. Instead of going to focus on court things, he's like, let me go back on Facebook and try and, deal with this right here. And so he responds, you certainly have the right to address your grievances to the government. Thing is, I have free speech as well. He can't spell speech. He put SOEECH. I mean, everything autocorrects, so I don't know how that happens. Anyway, as to any tapes you want to pull and you are concerned about me erasing them, that is not how I operate, nor have I ever had control over or access to the storage system. Okay, but now you're on notice that I'm doing that. So I understand that. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe this. And so we've all heard my response, up there. And so my response is, I never said anything about your free speech. Unlike you, I love the Constitution and law. I simply said it's pathetic, and from what my feeble little mind can find in research, highly inappropriate and beneath the decorum of the office, and creates, in this instance, confirms your judicial bias against me. It raises the question of how many people you disliked have you ruled against and most likely stole their freedom. I can't thank you enough for being stupid enough to respond to me. You may not delete the tapes, but I know how corruption works. don't worry, I'll be up and get the footage I need. Although you said in down point 10, you didn't care about the Judicial Review Board. Clearly corrupt. Let your people know, as I also have on your tape of February 5th, 2024, that I have the right to film in all places besides the courtroom, and will do so to protect myself. I invoke my First Amendment right to be the press. Also, if you're going to be a little old citizen, at least use some spell check and look professional. Pathetic. And so that is how that went, and I love it. I'll get into some other stuff here, but let's go back right here and see one thing right here. Is it appropriate for judges? If anybody knows this for sure, let's do the quick Google thing. I'm a pathetic little citizen, man. What do I know? I've just got the internet to ask questions to, and that's what I'm going to do. But, I mean, it seems in everything I've ever heard, like, highly inappropriate. So the internet, when asked about that, is appropriate for a judge to respond to public criticism, it says generally it is not considered appropriate for a judge to directly respond to public criticism, as it can undermine the perception of judicial impartiality and independence. However, in cases where there are significant factual inaccuracies or misrepresentations, a judge may carefully respond to correct the record, often through a designated spokesperson or judicial body. Maybe not by yourself against somebody and then that you're, judicially biased against. Key points to consider: maintaining impartiality. That's not happening here. A judge's primary responsibility is to appear impartial, unbiased, and directly responding to criticism, and can be seen taking sides or engaging in personal disputes. Wow. Despicable. I'm going to win everything. Potential for further controversy. Even if a judge believes criticism unfair, responding publicly can escalate the situation and generate more negative attention. Hello. Oh, man. Ethical guidelines. Most judicial codes of conduct advise against directly responding to public criticism, especially regarding pending cases. Well, there's not a pending case here, but it just kind of shows in the past the judicial bias that he has had in his failure to do the proper thing repeatedly. Protecting the integrity of court. In situations where criticism could undermine the public confidence in the judiciary, a judge may choose to respond through an appropriate channel. One, there's no, undermining of anything here. And two, appropriate channel is not taking on me and saying, the world doesn't notice you. That's what everybody else thought. Guess what? My gross ain't going nowhere. I'm here, as they once say, out of spite. That's why. Okay? So, issuing a statement. If a judge decided to respond directly, it should be a concise statement focusing solely on factual corrections to avoid personal attacks. Oh my goodness. Do you see that? It's amazing. And so this is going to be absolutely fantastic for me. But let's just bring up some other stuff here of the judge and his great record. We'll go here. We got an article from the Newnan Times Herald. I'll get into them a little bit later. Mr. Clay Neely, he's afraid of my letters also. I'll just say that. And so here we go. The Coweta County judge defends bond decision on suspect later charged with murder. This guy does not follow anything. So Coweta County Magistrate Judge Robert Stokely is defending his decision to grant a signature bond to a man charged with felony drug possession and public indecency, who days later was charged with murder. Yeah. Terry Lee Rose III, 22, was initially arrested on July 19th. This was all from 2024. After being found partially nude behind a strip mall. During his arrest for public indecency, officers discovered methamphetamine in his backpack, leading to a felony drug charge. Despite a law mandating cash bail for drug offenses, Judge Stokely granted Rose a signature bond during an August 2nd preliminary hearing, allowing him to leave jail without posting cash. So despite a law mandating money, he says, no, you're just a weird guy with some drug stuff. We're going to let you out. No, don't get me wrong. will tell you that the judicial system is highly slanted and meant, and so with the law, to attack the poor. The poor are, unabashedly, or as I say, unequivocally, like harmed by the judicial system. Judicial system, prison, they can't afford representation, they can't afford to get out, all of this stuff. But that is neither here nor there. In this case, I just want to point that out, that the judicial system is against the poor. If you're rich, you get daddy to pardon you, and all your crimes are gone for 10 years. And so otherwise, they just don't do anything and try to give you good deals. And so all that happens. But so we'll go and continue on here. 3 days later, Rose was arrested again, this time for the alleged murder of 28-year-old Jonathan Marquez Jackson, who was stabbed to death behind Dollar General store in Newnan. Rose is currently incarcerated and is charged with murder and tampering with evidence. Preparations are being made for the district attorney's office to prosecute. Well, I hope it's not the solicitor's office. They're not real good. While theories and motive are present, we currently cannot state an official motive, according to a statement released by Newnan PD. Now, they're a bunch of clowns. Decision under scrutiny. Judge Stokely's decision to release Terry Lee Rose on a signature bond has faced significant backlash, particularly in light of Georgia's new bail reform law, Senate Bill 63, designed to prevent individuals facing serious charges from being released without posting bail. This judge has to be held accountable. I mean, look at his behavior. It's reckless. He finds it appropriate to attack citizens who are just out there demanding accountability, and he recklessly lets people out of jail who are dangerous and end up, with a murder. As I've said before, in everything, their inability to prosecute actual criminals who are dangerous is going to put blood on their hands, and now Stokely definitely has blood on his hands. He's a coward, no doubt about it. And so Governor Kemp, who's a dirtbag, signed the law in May, and it became effective July 1st. The law requires cash bail for certain offenses, including drug possession, to address that lawmaker described as a revolving door of repeatedly arrested and released offenders. This bill carries out impartial bail reforms that will ensure dangerous individuals cannot walk our streets and commit further crimes, Kemp said when signing the bill, and he was probably also paid off by somebody in that running one of these, for-profit prison systems. But anyway, Kemp's a dirtbag. But a great idea, though, to keep people off the trail. Some experts, legal experts, argue that judges may respect and comply with laws like Senate Bill 63, which restricts signature bonds for specific offenses. Chuck Boring, an Atlanta attorney and former director of the Judicial Qualifications Commission, criticized Stokely's decision, stating that Georgia Judicial Code of Conduct requires judges to follow the law. There's a difference between making a wrong decision and applying the law and not knowing the law, but as is refusing to follow it, Boring said. Bond not designed to be punitive. Despite the law, Stokely defended his decision, emphasizing the U.S. Constitution grants judges the authority to make bond decisions based on the specific circumstances of each case. But they put a law in, man. You can't go, yes, that is in there, in the Constitution. No, unfair, punitive action. But that's how it goes. And now I've got Duke barking again. I can't believe this. Anyway, let me go on here. These Cates, he explained the preliminary hearing was conducted without participation from the district attorney's office or the arresting officer, leaving him with limited information. Imagine that! No DA, no officer. Why? Because they are lazy, corrupt, and inept. Hands down, period, end of story. Lazy, corrupt, and inept. The entire system, as I said. Okay. Stokely said there was no compelling evidence to suggest Rose was a flight risk or pose a serious danger to the community. I have no evidence that suspect is a flight risk or pose danger to the community. Stokely said bond is not meant to be punitive. It is meant to ensure the individual returns to court. So, I know that the bond that when I had a successful arrest made was, there was a bond there. But this guy does not have one, and so kind of weird. Like, he's just picking and choosing what he wants. He's not following any laws right here. Stokely also claimed as part of Senate Bill 63 as a federal injunction, particularly provision limiting how many individuals or organizations can post bail for others in a given year. The broader issues of jail overcrowding and financial burden of incarceration also influenced his decision. He noted that approximately $80 a day to house an inmate in Coweta County, and the district attorney's office and county commissions have been discussing reducing jail populations, particularly for low-level offenders. But this wasn't a low-level offense. This was, a person that had a felony arrest there. I think we were talking about misdemeanors, things like that, things that aren't important, but wrong again. If a person is entitled to a bond, the amount can sometimes be more than costs issue than it's worth. Stokely said, referring to the financial strain on local resources. Yeah, I'm sure he really cares about that. The guy's a clown. He needs to be sued. I hope the family of the gentleman that was killed is suing the crap out of him. I really hope so. Stokely further emphasized that setting bond is not a tool for punishment. Judges must set bonds and ensure suspects return to court while considering their ability to pay. He warned the misconception that judges can simply set unaffordable bonds to keep individuals in jail. You can't say, oh, this is a homeless guy. If I set his bond at this amount, there's no way he can make it, Stokely said. That's not how bond works. It's not meant to punish. So Jackson, better known to his friends as a big boy, is remembered as a vibrant personality and sense of humor. According to family member Vicky Warner Hardy, Jackson was homeless, but not because his family refused to take him in. Sometimes when people get down, whatever he was going through, that's why he ended up where he was, since family members said that Vicky Warner Hardy, he didn't have to be homeless. He had family that would take him in, but that's just how he was. Just hours after learning of Jackson's death, his mother, Donna Faye Powell, suffered a heart attack and passed away. You see the implications of your actions there, Stokely? You let the guy out. He murdered somebody, and then the guy's mom died too because of your actions, Stokely. You gutless coward. Absolutely. You're a gutless coward. How many other times do we have blood on your hands? How many more? What a disgrace to this nation. You are an absolute disgrace, and you should resign, go away, and you should probably be jailed for this. Like, you are an absolute just disgrace. Man. Jackson's family expressed frustration with the judicial system, and the double loss has been particularly painful. The question whether Rose should have been held on cash bond following initial arrest. Hardy said Rose should have been held in a more substantial cash bond or denied bond altogether, given the nature of prior charges and the potential danger he represented to the community. If he had drug charges, why did he get assigned his own bond? He asked. Family grappling with their grief are now calling for change, not just in the judicial system, but in resources for those struggling with homelessness and addiction. All right, fair enough. I go both ways. Homeless. Anybody could end up there. Like, you're only a couple bad decisions away from being homeless, so everybody should really look at that. But the addiction thing, like, if people have pain, like, I really don't like the addicts because the people who really need pain stuff are limited in it because of the addicts. That's the problem. And so people like me are punished for the addicts, and that really ticks me off because I have legitimate pain from real injuries. So Hardy said homelessness is often linked to underlying issues such as mental illness and addiction rather than a choice or personal failing. I mean, there's a lot of things there for that, but criminalizing homelessness is not the answer, and the community needs to provide better support and system resources to address the root causes. Yeah, I agree with that. In the aftermath of the murder charge, Judge Stokely expressed regret about the outcome, but maintained that his decision was based on available information. Well, I mean, I think we have police that didn't show up, a prosecutor that didn't show up. So, I mean, qualified immunity really needs to be out the door, and those folks need to be, the family needs to sue those police officers, too, for not showing up and doing their job right there. He needs to lose his qualified immunity for not doing his duty and showing up to court. For a guy that was arrested on a felony charge. I think it's going to be one of our FOIAs to figure out who the arresting officer here was. Make sure I write that down here real quick as we go. So you got to forgive me, my mind is short sometimes. But we're going to, FOIA the arresting officer, FOIA arresting officer, and we're going to find out why no one showed up in court. So I think that'll be a good thing for me to remember here as I get it off the head here. I can't forget things like that because we want accountability, and that lies in with that police officer who just didn't show up. Felony arrest, man. Don't you guys get all excited for that? Yeah, put somebody in jail. Put another poor person in jail. Cracked him up. Put him in there. You're gonna we're going to figure out who you are too. And I'm going to expose you and your entire personnel file. That's going to come out too. Whoever the coward is that made this arrest, I'm going to find out. Okay? He stressed the intent was not to release a dangerous individual, but to follow the constitutional principles while considering practical factors such as the cost of incarceration. I'm not sure that was in there, bud. I'm really sorry this happened, Stokely said, referring to Death Jackson. Someone losing a loved one is something that matters to me. It happened to my family. I ain't say nothing about that, but they were great in spite of you, not because of you. So Stokely acknowledged that in hindsight he should have simply dismissed the case instead of trying to comply with legislative requirements. Even with cash bond, I believe the outcome of Rose's case would likely have not changed, as Rose would have been released eventually. Rose remains in Coweta County Jail, held without bond charges of murdering and tampering with evidence. So he would have been released eventually, I couldn't stop it, whatever. And so, no, he would have had to go through some kind of treatment thing or something like that. And so there were things that could have kept this from going off the rails, but I guess it's not really a thing for this dirtbag there. So that's, part of that right there. So once again, the number for Stokely, the magistrate's office, 770-254-2610, 770-254-2610, rstokely@coweta.ga.us. I'll put that in there. And just remember, why is it appropriate to go after me and say maybe the world won't notice you as much? What is the problem with me? The law-abiding citizen, served honorably in the military, completed 5 tours of combat, got a college degree, got a job, do great things, volunteer help folks. Like, what is there not to, what world shouldn't notice about me? Is it because I stand up to the government? Is it because I redress my government and stand up to you and tell you you're doing the wrong thing? And so is everybody else, and this shows it? Is that it? Is that what makes you mad when somebody stands up to you? Everybody should just comply, huh? This is Nazi Germany. Comply. Don't stand up to me. Wrong. That's what it is. Great citizen, and you're like, hey, you know what? Nobody should notice you. Well, we're going to play that game. I guarantee you, bud. And so I've got a little bit extra stuff here. There's really a whole lot of stuff here from old dirtbag Stokely. But I really want to get this published out today. I think we're going to follow up with this part tomorrow because I want to get, unfortunately, I've had to break this down into 2 parts already here, but I want to get it out so we can start the public pressure campaign on this guy. I'll be starting, judicial processes of review and trying to FOIA as much information as I can and stand up here. And this is what I'm talking about. I cannot believe the corruption came to me this quickly to be able to fight. I absolutely despise this man. He is despicable in all ways, and he's showing so in the way he's running. The court there, letting people out on bond and murder people. He's got blood on his hands. He's got double blood on his hands right there at least. He's got a lot of blood on his hands. He's an absolute despicable coward of a tyrant. Southern judges are, amazingly corrupt. That's like a historical thing. And so, man, I told you yesterday, they do not like when you point out corruption and you stand up to them. These people get mad. Well, don't do that. It won't happen. But too late, you already did, and you stood up. Don't like people. So maybe, call and let them know, let him know there why the world should notice me. So let Judge Stokely know why the world should notice a citizen who served honorably in the military for 20 years, 5 tours of combat, all that up there. Got a college degree, got a job, great member of society. All I've ever done is come in there and demand that people be held accountable for crimes they've committed. And because I've done that repeatedly, doesn't like me. He don't like me from the get-go. But when you call them out on it, they get upset about that. So what is it about a normal citizen showing up in there and demanding stuff that makes you so mad? What is it, you coward? Let's figure it out. We're going to find out. We're going to find out all this stuff. I cannot believe that you've been allowed to stay on that bench. You deserve to be removed. You deserve every bad thing that is absolutely, coming to you. I do not understand it. Why that you've been allowed to be there. I don't get it, but that's okay. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna put this out, and we'll just take that out for tomorrow or Monday. Monday, I think, is a holiday. I don't know if I'll be able to get the record time to go up there, but I also will be up there Monday. I've got some stuff to do, so maybe a later in the day release on Monday. May do a special Saturday edition tomorrow. But just want to put that out. Thank everybody for continuing to listen to these things, and I hope that you'll just take that little bit of action and make that call or send that email. 770-254-2610, and then rstokely@coeta.ga.us. I'll put that in the email also in the link below. And just let this guy know why the world should not notice me. Why? Do we need less honorable people notice? Like, what is it? What is it that makes me where the world should not notice me as long as you're around? We're gonna let the public kind of weigh in on that. Share this. I'll make this shareable. Share it with whoever you want. Let them call in. Let them know who I am, how I am, and we will. We'll get to that. So, I mean, you want to come after me, man? Like, let's do this. I love it. I welcome a fight. I will fight your corruption. Just hate all you want, man. Not gonna work. I'm gonna win. You're going down, Stokely. I told you yesterday. And now you gave me everything I need. Man. Loser. Notice me. Everybody's gonna let you know. Got the numbers. See you later.